The Chicago Bears take on the Detroit Lions again, this time at Soldier Field. Can they get revenge for one of the biggest chokes in Bears history? Watch this video to hear my thoughts. What's going on, guys? I'm back with another Chicago Bears pregame prediction video, which I'll be doing before every single Bears game this year. So subscribe to my channel if you guys want my thoughts before and after each Bears game. And we are coming on the end of this season, guys. Okay, there's only 5 games left of this season. It's been a terrible season, obviously, for the most part for the Bears, but things do seem to be turning around a little bit as of late. Okay, the Bears somehow are only 2 games behind the last wild card spot, and I'm not suggesting that the Bears are somehow going to make it, because that would still take an absolute miracle for the Bears to somehow make it in. We'd have to win every single game. Fields would have to play amazing. Defense would have to keep it up, and we'd have to show something that we just simply have not shown under this regime. But it is the NFL, okay? So until the Bears are mathematically eliminated, obviously I will be rooting for the Bears to shock the world and complete a Jaguars or Lions type season from last year. Hopefully like the Jaguars did. Okay, the Jaguars were also 4-8 at this point last year. Then they won every single game down the stretch and stuck into the playoffs. And then they also won a playoff game, because once you make it in, anything is possible. Now, again, I'm not suggesting the Bears are somehow going to do that, because we'd have to be a little bit lucky too in getting luck from teams ahead of us losing games. But mathematically, it's still possible if we win every single game down the stretch. And that's what the Bears have to do now, okay? If they want to, make it into the playoffs, they're going to have to go 9-8 probably, and every game now is a playoff game. It's a must win. And with how good the team is playing lately on defense, like, it's not totally crazy to think they could be competitive in many of these games, okay? Because when you have a good defense, you will always be in football games. The question is, can the Bears get things figured out on the offensive side of the football consistently, okay? And that's going to be the big question mark for the entire offseason as well. What's going to happen at the quarterback spot? And as of right now, guys, I still legit have no idea, okay? I can see the Bears drafting a quarterback. I can see them drafting a Caleb Williams or a Drake May at the top, because those are 2 really highly touted quarterback prospects. You would reset the quarterback clock, and the Bears probably are going to have the number 1 or number 2 overall pick from the Carolina Panthers. So Ryan Poles very easily could do that if he wants to, or he can stick with Justin Fields and trade back from number 1, build an absolute super team around that quarterback, around Justin Fields, and hope that Fields takes the next step forward next year in 2024, okay? And I think the Bears fan base is really split on that topic right now. Some people really want to get rid of Fields. Some people really want to keep Fields. And me personally, guys, I'm just going to wait it out and see what the Bears do, because there's nothing that I can say or do, or you guys can say or do, that's going to impact what the Bears are going to do at the quarterback spot, okay? It's totally in Ryan Poles' hands what he wants to do at the quarterback spot. But if Justin Fields wants to help his case to be the Bears quarterback for the long term, he has to go out here and perform really, really well in these final 5 games. Now, it's still not totally fair, because I don't like Luke Getsy as a play caller, as a play designer at all. I wish we could see Justin Fields with an actual good offensive coordinator, but unfortunately, life in the NFL is not fair, okay? And if he does not show more flashes, even with the bad coordinator, with all these playmakers around him now, with DJ Moore, with Cole Kmet, with Darnell Mooney, with a pretty good offensive line, if he does not show consistent flashes now through the last 5 games, he's probably not going to be on the Bears in 2024, even though, again, I'm a big Justin Fields fan. So, again, nothing we can do at this point except hope that Justin Fields goes out there, balls out, passes for 300-plus passing yards against the Lions, and states his case to be the Bears quarterback in 2024 if you do want to see him return to the Chicago Bears. And talking about our opponent in this game, guys, again, it is the Detroit Lions, a team that I still cannot believe we somehow let beat us in the last matchup, okay? Because if you guys remember, we were up on that team by a score of 26-14 with almost 3 minutes left in the game, and then we choked massively, losing to them by a score of 31-26, allowing back-to-back touchdowns. Now, before that game started, I did not think we had any chance to be competitive with that Lions team, but the fact that we were competitive in that game, not only competitive, but the fact that we were beating them by 12 points until 3 minutes left in the game gives me a lot more confidence going into this matchup that the Bears do have a chance to beat the Lions at home. Now, it's still not going to be an easy matchup whatsoever, okay? The Lions are still a great football team, really well coached on both offense and maybe not so much on defense anymore. Okay, their defense is struggling, but they definitely have a good offensive play caller. They have a good head coach in Dan Campbell. They have great players on this team, so it's not going to be an easy matchup whatsoever for the Bears. But the spread for this game is only -3 to the Lions, and obviously the Bears get some points being at home, but Vegas did not think this game was going to be very close last matchup in Detroit, and this time they think it's going to be a field goal game basically in Soldier Field, and that also speaks to the fact that the Lions are not playing as well as of late, especially on defense, and the Bears are playing much better as of late, especially on defense. They're playing a lot better, so it's really anybody's game here, okay? Even though the Lions have 8 wins and the Bears only have 4, I would not be surprised whatsoever if the Bears go in here and beat the Lions, because last time around, that's what we should have done, okay? And if the players have any sort of heart, any sort of pride, they're going to go in here looking to prove a point that, oh, we let you guys off the hook last time, and that's not going to happen this time around, hopefully. But talking about the Lions in more detail, I'll be breaking down both sides of the ball for them. I won't go into too much detail this time because I already made a video, on this 3 weeks ago or 2 weeks ago when we played the Lions, right? So I'm talking about their offense. They rank number 6 in points scored per game, number 2 in yards gained per game, number 4 passing attack, and number 4 run game. And not much is different right now than the last time we played the Lions. The Lions are still a great offense with great playmakers, with a good play caller, with a pretty decent quarterback as well. But the quarterback has struggled pretty big time with turnovers as of late, okay? Against the Saints, he was perfect. No turnovers there, but against the Packers, he fumbled the ball 3 times, and against the Bears, obviously he threw 3 interceptions, and it very easily could have been 4 or 5 because a couple of them were dropped, right? So Jared Goff turned the ball over many times in that Bears game. He struggled mightily against that Eberflus defense with us getting pressure in his face pretty frequently, okay? Even though the Lions have a very good offensive line, Montez Sweat got some pressure. Javon Dexter was in his face a couple times, and he struggled big time against the Bears, switching up their coverages sometimes on those crucial third downs. And credit to him for still finding a way to win that game and be poised late in that game in the fourth quarter. But if the Bears were more aggressive in that game on offense, they very easily would have won that game off of the Jared Goff turnovers. So if Jared Goff still struggles with turnovers in this game, that could really help the Bears win this game, okay? Because he has been a turnover machine as of late. Now, when he's not turning the ball over, he's a pretty accurate quarterback. He can make his reads and find the right guy open at the right time. So he can be pretty efficient. His stats look pretty good on the year. But when he's down, he is really down. If you guys remember back in 2018 against the Bears in that freezing cold temperatures, he played one of the worst games of his football career. Now, it's also going to be pretty cold again this weekend in Chicago. It's not going to be as cold. It's only like 35 or 30 according to the weather forecast, but that's still pretty chilly. He plays in an indoor stadium in Detroit, so keep an eye on the cold potentially being a factor here. I know people will say that's silly, but if you look at his career playing in the cold, it's not been very good performances in freezing cold weather, and it should be pretty chilly here in Chicago. So I think the Lions offense really is going to ride or die depending on how Jared Goff does in this game, okay? Because they do have really good weapons, obviously, all over the field. But if you cannot get those weapons involved catching the football, it does not matter how good they actually are. They have a pretty strong run game, too, in Jahmyr Gibbs and David Montgomery. Last game, David Montgomery scored the game-winning touchdown against the Bears, which hurt to see former Bear doing that against us. But the Bears did bottle up the Lions' run game for the most part during that game, okay? They were not as efficient running the football as they have been against other teams. And if the Bears defense, again, can stop this Lions run game, making them more one-dimensional, that's going to be very beneficial to the Bears defense. Now, we do have to be better at the end of games because this Lions offense up-tempo, at least against the Bears, that's where they scored all their points, okay? At the end of the first half, and then obviously at the end of the game, in that matchup against the Bears, that's when the Lions scored really easily, pushing the ball downfield when they were moving fast. Now, maybe Ben Johnson is going to speed things up and go more up-tempo, go more no-huddle in this game against the Bears because they saw that it worked against the Bears last time around. So, hopefully Eberflus has a better plan of attack for containing this Lions offense at the end of halves, at the end of games, or if they're going up-tempo, because they can be pretty deadly when they are locked in like that, moving the ball downfield. Now, talking about the Lions defense, they have struggled big time here as of late. They ranked number 23 in points allowed per game, number 14 in yards allowed per game, number 21 pass defense, number 5 run defense. And if you look at their last 4 performances, okay, they allowed 38 against the Chargers, 26 against the Bears, 29 against the Packers, 28 against the Saints. Like, the defense has struggled mightily as of late, okay? It's not a good defense whatsoever. In the red zone, they're struggling. In the secondary, they're struggling. They lost one of their best interior defensive linemen. Aleem McNeil to injured reserve. He's not going to be playing in this game. He had a sack against the Bears in the last game. And aside from Aiden Hutchinson, who is still an absolute freak of nature on the defensive line, he could single-handedly still destroy the Bears' offensive line like he did at the end of the last game. He'll still be a monster, don't get me wrong, but aside from him, who else on this line's front seven is going to step up? Right now, it's not really anybody, okay? And the secondary also is struggling as a result of that, because even though they have a couple talented guys, Kirby Joseph from Illinois, they also drafted Brian Branch from Alabama, who's having a pretty good year. They don't have the pass rush in front of them right now to really succeed on the back end, and they're having their own difficulties as well, allowing big explosive plays downfield. So Lions defense, man, I mean, it's looking a little bit closer to the Lions defenses of the last 5 years, as opposed to what Lions fans thought it would be entering this year. And again, I'm not trying to say the Lions defense is not going to put it all together against this Bears offense, because if it's anybody that can put it all together against, it would be the Chicago Bears, with how much we struggle on offense. But with how easily the Bears were getting first downs in the last game against the Lions, with how much the Lions defense struggled, especially against Fields' legs in that game. You guys have to remember, Fields had over 100 rushing yards in that game against the Lions, his first 100-yard rushing performance of the season. If the Bears do replicate some of that game plan, the Lions defense, again, could struggle pretty mightily, because they had no answer for Justin Fields as a runner in that game. Now, end of that game in the fourth quarter, they did bottle him up to some extent, but they also got a little bit lucky that, Tyler Scott slowed down on a wide open pass downfield to ice the game. So certainly a lot of opportunities to attack this Lions defense right now. They're struggling big time as of late. But talking about the Bears offense now, they rank number 21 in points scored per game, number 20 in yards gained per game, number 25 passing attack, and number 3 run game. And even though they had a great outing against the Lions, they struggled big time against the Vikings on Monday Night Football 2 weeks ago before the bye. Now, Vikings definitely have a better defensive coordinator, a better defense overall, but it still was pretty concerning that the Bears could not get anything going on offense for the vast majority of that game, could not push the ball into the end zone, could not get consistent for first downs. Justin Fields struggled in that game as a passer at times, so I guarantee you the Lions are going to have a different game plan on defense to attack Justin Fields in this game, okay? They maybe are going to send more pressure his way as opposed to last time. They maybe are going to disguise coverages a little bit more. They're going to try to do whatever they can to confuse Justin Fields, to confuse Luke Getsy, and not have a repeat of what happened in that last game. But if the Bears are smart, they will still stick to what works on this offense and also run the football very, very well, okay? Because the Bears as a offense are really good when they run the football, but when Luke Getsy gets away from that, when Luke Getsy wants to throw screen passes every single down, that's when the Bears offense can struggle. So a lot of this does depend on the play caller, which, Justin Fields does not have much control over. Yeah, he can audible at the line of scrimmage, but you can only audible so many times. At some point, your offensive play caller has to be smart as well, which I don't think Luke Getsy is. But the Bears don't have excuses in this game to not put up points. Okay, we have DJ Moore going off for a career high, career best year. We have Cole Kmet also having a career best year. We have the offensive line gelling at the right time. Everybody's healthy on the offensive line. Braxton Jones having a good couple games. Darnell Wright on the right side, the rookie tackle, looking fantastic. Tevin Jenkins, really, really good. Nate Davis is fully back. So there should be time in this game for Justin Fields to get the ball out, to go deep if Luke Getsy allows him the chance to go deep, and get the ball into the hands of DJ Moore, Cole Kmet, Darnell Mooney. I want to emphasize Darnell Mooney here because we have to get the number 2 option on this team involved at some point. It seems like Mooney is very rarely involved in the Bears passing attack, and that's a damn shame because he's had such good plays before in the past with Justin Fields at quarterback, but they have not been on the same page for a good portion of this year. So, if we go down deep to Mooney to begin this game, I think that would be a sign of good things to happen in this game for the Bears offense, because it cannot only be DJ Moore handling the entire load on this Bears passing attack. So that's the Bears offense. They definitely have enough weapons on this offense to score points against a struggling Lions defense. But talking lastly about the Bears defense, they ranked number 27 in points allowed per game, number 11 in yards allowed per game, number 25 pass defense, and number 1 run defense. And Montez Sweat, guys, has been one of the biggest force multipliers you could possibly have asked for on this Bears defense, because right after acquiring him, the Bears' entire front seven is starting to show up. Okay, guys that Ryan Poles invested in, like Javon Dexter, like DeMarcus Walker, even Zach Pickens has had a few flashes, even Unique Ngakoue has had a couple of flashes. Unique is still not that good, I would say, but like a lot of players on this defensive line now are getting opportunities because of how good Montez Sweat actually is and how much pressure he's generating by himself. Okay, in the last game, Montez Sweat had 4 pressures in that game against the Panthers. He had 8 pressures. He has 18 pressures on the season so far as the Chicago Bears. So if the Bears pass rush can continue getting this pressure on the quarterback, the interceptions will keep on coming because we're forcing opposing quarterbacks into really tough situations. Okay, it seems like nobody's really open down the field on many of these interceptions, and guys like Jared Goff, guys like Josh Dobbs are throwing bad picks. Okay, in the last 2 games, the Bears defense has forced 7 interceptions in that time span. That's number 1 in the NFL by a significant margin. Okay, so the hits principles right now, the T in hits principles, which stands for the ball or turnovers, whatever the hell it stands for, that's finally happening. Okay, the Bears are actually getting their hands on the ball and making it go the other way. We still have a little bit too many drops. Like Jalen Johnson still has had a couple dropped pick sixes, which should not be happening still, but like I'm really happy with how this Bears defense now is turning the ball over, and this has to continue in this game against Jared Goff again if the Bears defense wants any chance of stopping such a proficient offense. With that being said, it's time for my 3 keys to Bears victory. How can the Chicago Bears win this game against the Lions? And key number 1 is going to be to take advantage of Justin Fields' big time arm early and often in this game. That doesn't mean to not run Justin Fields at all. Obviously, you have to run him at times in this game. He's one of the most game-breaking runners at the quarterback spot. So yeah, like design some QB runs, some QB power here and there, get him outside the pocket, some play action, some bootlegs, like incorporate that stuff obviously into this game plan. But I want to see us taking big time shots down the field early in this game. Okay, we can't throw 25 screen passes like we did in the last game. Attack this Lions defense going downfield. There should be a lot more shots to DJ Moore, to Darnell Mooney, and that's on Luke Getsy, but also on Justin Fields to see those guys open downfield. Okay, we can't have any more vision issues from him. He has to see guys streaking open down the field if they are indeed open and let go of that football, because he has a big time arm if he can trust that arm and actually unload it when necessary. So that's key number 1. Key number 2 is going to be to capitalize on every single turnover opportunity you're given on the defensive side of the football. I guarantee you in this game, Jared Goff again will be throwing you some turnover worthy plays, and if you are the Bears defense, you have to be able to get your hands on the football and make it go the other way. Okay, even though we did get 3 picks in that last game, it should have been 4 or 5. Okay, you cannot let the ball slip through your hands even if you are a defender. Even if you already have 3 picks, you got to get that next one, because those can be game-changing, season-changing opportunities, especially on pick sixes. Okay, Jalen Johnson has dropped 2 pick sixes now in back-to-back games, and obviously no shade against Jalen Johnson. He's a fantastic cornerback that 100% hope the Bears extend, but you got to come down with those game-changing plays when they come into your hands. And I'm not asking them for 4 picks every single game, but every chance you get, make sure you make it go the other way, because against a offense this good, against a team this good, you're going to have to take advantage of those turnovers. And then finally, key number 3 is going to be to have your foot on the gas pedal the entire game, the entire 60 minutes. Matt Eberflus, Luke Getsy, play this football game to win. Okay, do not play not to lose, because there's a big difference, guys. Like in the last game, if the Bears played to win that game, they probably would have won that game. Only scared teams blow a 12-point lead with 3 minutes left in the game. That cannot happen again if the Bears have a lead like that late in this game. Keep on pushing, keep on being aggressive. You only have 4 wins on the season. You have absolutely nothing to lose at this point, Matt Eberflus or Luke Getsy, because both of you probably are going to be fired unless you win games like this. So foot on the gas, play to win the game. And finally, it's time for my score prediction. Who do I have win this matchup? And guys, I have the Chicago Bears going into Soldier Field against the division rival Detroit Lions, and coming out of there with a win by the score of 27-24. Now, am I really scared to pick a Bears win? Yes, I am. Am I confident the Bears are going to win? Not entirely, but at this point, guys, with the Bears fully healthy, with their defense playing this good, like especially being at home, I kind of think the Bears are somehow going to steal this game and shock the world. And it should not even be that shocking with how good the Bears played against the same Lions team the last time around. If they are able to finish the deal this time around with better coaching, with better play late in this game, okay, the Bears 100% have a chance to beat this Lions team because they were on their way to doing that in the last matchup. Now, if the Bears do lose this game, I'm probably not going to pick a Bears win for the rest of the season because this is the absolute must win, okay? You have to find a way to win this game, and I think that desperation from the Bears, from Justin Fields, from the coaching staff, like, might win out in this case and give the Bears a win over a better opponent with the crowd behind them at Soldier Field. And I think the crowd could be a pretty big factor in this game, guys. Like, Soldier Field still is getting pretty loud, even though we have such a bad record, and especially against a divisional opponent. You can expect Bears fans to show up, be loud on their feet the entire time, and give the Bears their best chance to win. And hopefully the Bears can do that and finish the game this time around. Okay, I think that Justin Fields actually should be having a pretty good performance. Okay, I'm kind of scared to predict that, but I really do feel like Fields could go in this game and actually have a pretty decent stat line. Maybe I don't want to predict the exact stats, but like, I think Bears fans could actually be very happy with Fields after this game because the Lions, again, are struggling a little bit on defense, and the Bears, you know, when their passing attack is going, you know, well, like, you see outings like you saw against the Commanders or against the Broncos, and that's totally possible in this game against this Lions defense. And I think that the Bears defense is going to force at least a couple turnovers because they have been on a roll in doing that as of late, and the Bears pass rush really starting to show up as well. So I'm definitely very scared to be optimistic. I'm probably going to look like a fool after this game is over because I bought in on the Bears one last time, but I really do feel like even just not even being a Bears fan, like, you can see a way for the Bears to win this game with how they played this Lions team last time and with how good they're playing right now on defense. That is the big difference. Okay, when you have a good defense, you can win any game because you will be in a lot of games that maybe you should not be in. So that's my prediction. As for my offense MVP, Justin Fields, I think he goes in here as a pretty good outing and gets his first win against the Lions in a long time since his rookie year. And then as for my defense MVP, I'm going to be going with Kyler Gordon, actually. Okay, Kyler Gordon, I think, gets the interception, strikes a Spider-Man pose, shoots his webs downfield at Soldier Field, and continues his pretty exciting sophomore season. Leave your comments down below, guys. What do you guys think is going to happen in this game? I'm guessing a lot of Bears fans will actually think we could win this game because just like me, you're holding on to that last little bit of optimism left. And if the Bears lose this game, they're going to crush any amount of that was left. So God, I'm hoping the Bears win. I'm hoping that we can have some fun here down the stretch and root for a miraculous Bears playoff run because even as unlikely as it is, I am a diehard fan at heart, guys. Like, I'm always going to be a diehard Bears fan, and anytime there's any level of, you know, opportunity to get into the playoffs, I'm going to root like hell for my team to get in. Hopefully we beat the Lions. Leave your comments down below. As always, bear down.